Hello, 2 times in one day. Is it Christmas, y'all? Is it Christmas? It must be. It is time for another Facebook Takeover interview. And tonight, hanging out. Do you have your chocolate? I've got my water. How's your life going? So we've got Brandy Sorensen. And she is someone I met. Y'all, I met her on Twitter. Yeah. So I met her through Periscope. And then this is when I was, I would look up every person all the time. By the way, I'm Trish, if you haven't met me. I'm a former intelligence officer and I'm a performance strategist. I love getting clients results from point A to point B and in the way that works best for them, which is usually restructuring a bit of their life, a bit of their days and getting their time back. So Brandy and I met on Periscope. And she had commented or liked or something. And this is back in the day when I would go through and anyone who had liked or commented or given me hearts on Periscope, I would go and check them out. And so I couldn't find her, but I found her on Twitter. And she was this gal who traveled in an RV. And I thought, what? Are you serious? Like you travel in an RV. This is so cool. And so I was a big fan right then and there just of her as a human. And then I've gotten to get to know her so much better and it's really fun. We've gotten to know each other the past couple years and I've just really enjoyed her energy, her attitude, the way she looks at things. She's just a really kind and loving person. Brandy is someone who she helps moms. If anybody in here has ever been around small humans, knows that it can be hard. It can be really difficult. And oh my gosh, being around little ones all the time is hard. And so what Brandy does is she guides moms. She loves on moms. She is actually a mindful, and I love this because I wish Brandy had been around when my first was born 6 years ago in 2 weeks. So I really wish that I'd had her in my hip pocket. And so I'm pretty passionate about what she's doing because I had pretty severe postpartum and it was hard. Like people asked me, was it harder to go from 2 to 3 or 1 to 2? I'm like, y'all, it was just hard to become a mom. Like 0 to 1 was hard for me. And when I say hard,
Hello.
so glad to have you here. I was just raving about you and how I found you on Twitter. Hi, Sally and Kaka.
I am so glad we have connected. You have blessed my life as well.
Oh, I was
Goodness for the internet. Yes.
I know. So I was telling them how you're a mindful mentor for mamas and you love on them and you pour into them. And so tell them a little bit. That's kind of where I stopped off. I didn't go into your lifestyle or anything like that yet. So can you tell our ladies who may not know, what does your daily life look like?
Well, I am a mom to 3, 2 of which are homeschool age. And so I homeschool their 2 boys, 15 months apart. And when you said, I was never diagnosed with postpartum depression, but looking back, I'm pretty sure. It was rough becoming a mom. It's rough. It's an adventure. And then, so I homeschooled those 2, and I've got a 4-year-old, crazy daughter. She's a joy in our lives, but she's just as wild as the boys. And we live in a 38-foot camper with my husband. And, thank you, Becca. So my husband is a welder in the oil field, and we travel where his work is. We don't ever really know how long we're going to be in an area. We moved to Colorado thinking it would be 3 or 4 months, and we've been here over a year. And so our life literally could change in any moment.
That is amazing. So, because I don't think a lot of people do that. I don't actually know anyone outside the military who does that. And so right away, I just thought, wow, you guys choose this. And just the strength and the beauty of living your journey. And so I titled this, how do we continue to live our dreams? How do we continue to build business when we're in a constant state of transition? I think everyone actually is in a constant state of transition. However, they don't realize it. And so we don't have the space, the bandwidth to do it. However, for us, oh, brand constant. So I wanted to kind of dive in, unpack. I've known every question, and I wanted to give such a how in the world have you not given up? Because it's so transition. Because I'm hoping by the end of our conversation is that people will go, oh, I can do that too. Like me too. Like me too. I do. Brandy's up and wait, I guess maybe I am too. It just looks different. And so I don't have to give up on it. There's a lot of people walking away from dreams. Maybe it's not. But you fight for your parents, you fight for your children, and you fight for being the friend, one of the daughter. Um, so first, I'd like to ask, setting it up the stage, because it's a bit different of a conversation. First, I'd like to hear, what are you dreaming about right now?
I have a lot of dreams actually, but right now my biggest passion is to help moms. Like you said, realize that it's okay and they can go through their to reach for their dreams no matter what and live their life the way that they want to. Right now in society and things, it's really taken a hit on moms because they moms think we need to do everything the way that everyone else is doing, and but we don't. The thing is, we really don't. And I saw a meme recently, and it said, "If Satan can't make you bad, he's gonna make you busy." And that is so true in the mama world, whether you believe in Satan or just society. Um, if we're super busy because we're trying to catch up and do all the things, then we lose sight of our why. And so I know that because I did. And I didn't, I let go of my dreams kind of when I became a mom, and I was lost. I was like, I don't even know. My husband's like, what do you like to do? I'm like, I don't know, pee in peace. I don't know.
Oh, when my husband, can I just tell you, like, when my husband would start kicking me out of the house with love and respect, but he's like, you got to get out. I was like, what am I going to do? Honey, I
Hmm.
don't even, like, I don't know where to go. And even now, I still struggle, to be honest. But at least now I have a
Yeah.
couple options. But I'm paralyzed, physically paralyzed.
And it does not make you a bad mom. So I always wanted to be a mom. Like I wanted to have like 12 kids, and then I had one and I was like, just kidding. But it does not make you a bad mom if you have a dream besides being a mom. And I was raised in a world where in a culture where like you everybody says like their dream is to be a mom, and that's enough basically. And so it was a lot of guilt on me when it became not enough. Not that it's not, it's still one of my big priorities, um, but when I let go of that, having to find all of my joy in motherhood. Not all moms find all of their joy in motherhood. Some do, and that's great. But I didn't, and as I let go of that and reached for some other dreams, it made me a better mom because I was able to be more present and mindful.
Now, when you figured, when that inner discovery came,
Hmm.
since then, have there been times where you wanted to stop and give up?
Yes, many times. Because it's still a struggle. I mean, there's all the things, the time, the whatever, and a lot of times, when when kids start struggling, or, just when my husband had medical things come up, and yeah, I want to quit. Like, I want to just be like, never mind. But then when it really came down to it, I reached out to people like Trish, and B, it was like, I cannot let go of this dream. Even if I put it on pause, which I've put it on pause for a while to kind of get back centered and that kind of stuff. But it's hard, but that's never gone away, and it's not going to. Like, it's in me.
Can you tell me more about that pause? Can you dive in? Because I think that's something that I have recently given myself permission to not pause, but explore. But I would say that's
Hmm.
kind of a version of it. Just probably my version of pause. But just permission to explore and like pause some things I'm doing that I
Hmm.
had struck personally and professionally. Paused a couple things so I could explore. Um, because I feel like there's this pressure of you're either all in or you're doing nothing. Like
Hmm.
it needs to look up quote unquote certain way. So can you tell us what a pause has looked like for you? Because love for some people to get permission to do that.
Yeah. There's been a couple times where pausing was literally just for a week or two, where I just needed to put things to the side and then I would catch back up. This last one has actually been, quite a couple months, 4 or 5 months before I'm actually getting into it. I did a few things, so it wasn't ever like just completely stop and drop it. Like, I spoke at a retreat and I've kind of kept up with my group, but I didn't have the capacity right then. There was a little bit too many transitions. My husband had a medical thing, and that changed a couple times. Then my parents were moving, and then we were not working, just like all the things. And the kids were struggling with some things. And so I just kind of just backed off a little bit for a while. And um, but it's what I know that I needed to do, and it may not have been the best thing for my business or the best thing but it's what I needed to do, and it's what my family needed, and we're in such a better place right now um, to continue, and so that space, it's okay.
Hi, Erin. Hi, Ramona. So
Guys.
if you guys are on the replay, please and replay. Let us know you are out with us. Okay, so how have you? I usually say like, bounce back, but I actually just want to say, how have you transitioned back in? So you paused, um, and so how did you transition back into knowing, okay, I paused, that's what I needed, and hearing all good things from that. How did you know to then step back in and ramp up your activity and what you're doing?
When I just knew, I don't know, it's kind of an internal thing. For me, it was more, okay, like, I just had a feeling I was ready. And I did recognize, though, like, jumping back in, um, having that pause, I was able to reflect and do some really thought work with myself and do all the things that I teach other moms, helping them break into their subconscious so they can see their patterns and see what their mind, is playing tricks on them. And so I was able to do that. And I realized that I have in the past jumped all in, and then I became overwhelmed like that. And so I'm actually, as I'm going, I'm just doing one step at a time until I've got that mastered, and then taking another step until I've got that mastered, instead of like, okay, now jump right back where I was, and because then the wheels fall off and you need a longer pause. And I really think that that's what brought me to where I needed such a long pause, is that I didn't have my foundation um, set up as much. I jumped too fast.
Well, I think what I'm learning is every time we do something new, get outside our comfort zone, our foundation has to changes.
Change. Hmm.
So you need to take that time and spend in there. And as I'm listening, what I'm hearing, I've always been curious about how you've continued to stay with it through all the different transitions you go through, um, and by the nature of life. And is what I'm hearing is this dream, this what you want to do, because that's evolved over time since I've known
Hmm. Yeah,
you. It lives inside of you. Would you say that's accurate?
definitely. Yeah. I like
Okay,
when
and
you talk about legacy because it's more to me what it is. It's what I want to share. It's what I have. It's my legacy.
so how did you know, like listening to yourself and hearing it, how did you know it was this thing to go continue pursuing, even as there's medical and there's kids and there's transitions? Like, how did you? Because I'm trying to think if someone is wondering, like, oh, this is just something I'm interested in, or no, like,
Mhm.
this is a part of my dream. And even if I can only do one step, it's worth me taking this time. Like you right now, taking time out of your evening to come hang out with us and talk to us. That's an investment and that is a commitment and that's a sacrifice of something else. So how were you able to listen to that voice? Like what was going on? Was there like a theme or a reoccurring thought or just things you got fired up about?
Yeah, it is. So a couple things. I'm really mindful and I check in with myself a lot, whether that's through journaling exercises or just taking time away and quiet to just think, okay, how's my life going? Just really kind of think about those things. But the the biggest thing that really was like, okay, when I think about dropping it and letting it go and moving on, my heart just breaks. Like it's just not even. And so for me, that's why I'm like, okay, well, I'm not stopping. It's just still in me. Um, but taking a break, I'm okay with. There has been other things. This has been a journey. And that's one thing that I would really just encourage people to do is to just start. Like it's not going to be the same most of the time. Like it's not going to be the same as what you imagine when you first start, whether that's a business or whether that's homeschooling or whether that's just a job, whatever that is, whatever you're just start. No one is perfect. Perfection is a huge myth. But it's the journey and it's the things you learn along the way on the journey that are so valuable. And there's been things that I've done that I'm like, okay to let go. But then like that's why I know that I'm not letting go because it's not if I thought of that, of losing this message and just putting it aside, like it's just too much.
That's incredible. I love hearing that it lives inside of you and no matter what transitions you're going through and no matter what is happening. So what transitions, we've talked a bit about your transitions and you've worked with clients and you've worked with mamas and they're just going through a lot. What transitions have you seen that we just all go through? And you would just like to encourage them that okay, let's just get through it. You'll be fine. Like just it's okay.
Mhm.
We're don't give up on the dream. Like this is there something you've seen? I know there's some things I've seen, but you work with moms, as your life song. So are there some things you see that come up regularly?
Yeah. The biggest one I think is that whole myth of balance and finding a perfect balance. Um, I like to think of it, I've heard other people talk about harmony in music, like certain parts are louder at a certain time. Okay, I'm no musician, so I don't know, but like I get the idea. Certain things are louder at a certain time, but they sound good together. And that's how you kind of have to get through those times that's like when your family or your marriage needs to be heightened, and your dream, whether that's running a marathon or that is, needs to quiet down a little bit, you don't have to let it go. It can just be quieter and let the other things be louder. And I think that's a big theme in thinking that we have to do it all equally. And that's not even possible.
I love that. And so, how do you deal with the guilt and frustration that comes when you have to quiet something?
Um, I I keep it alive by just doing a little bit of it. And you went through in one of our coaching thing. Anyways, one of our coaching things you taught about having a mission, vision, and values, and that's not just for a business. And when I step back and think my mission, whether it's to moms or to my kids or to my husband, it is to make sure that they know that they are loved and they know that they can forgive and are forgiven and that they love themselves. And so when I step back and look at what my mission in life in general is, then it's like, okay, that's still happening. It's just on a different. So really just being able to kind of pull above and take a look. In the grand scheme of things, it's no big deal.
I love that. Oh my gosh, I kind of want to camp here for a second because this makes so much sense. I'm having a light bulb moment here with Brandy, which I'm
I
not
love
surprised
it.
by. So because I think about because people ask like, how are you able to deal with like your husband's gone and this and that and I homeschool as
Yeah,
well and but I'm brand new. We're only going to first grade, so um,
it's hard
so
being
people
new.
always ask, and so people are always asked like, how are you able to just still flow? And I'm having a light bulb moment because my mission is to meet people where they're at and to move them forward and to help them strategically move forward. Now,
Hmm.
that's with my husband if he's having a bad day at work. That's with my kids if they're fighting with each other. That's with my sister if she's a night nurse, overnight nurse in surgical ICU. So she's terrible things
Yeah.
all the time. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm always meeting people where they're at, but I'm wanting to also move them forward. So, but just one step. And that makes so much sense. How
Hmm.
is whether it's with my girlfriends or those or my clients, I'm always living out
Hmm.
that. Like,
Yes.
but it's funny because people have asked, but I don't think it's ever quite light bulbed in that way.
Mm. That's so funny because I kind of got that from you in a different way, but then that's how my brain connected it. So that's cool. Circle of
Yeah.
life. I love
I,
it.
I'm being mentored by Brandy, and again, I'm so not surprised. Um,
Thank
so
you.
that is so cool. So, guys, what I'm taking away from tonight is if you don't have your mission statement, get it. And really,
Yes.
mission
Yeah.
statement. If you guys really want, put the comments. I can share it. It's a principle from one of my programs, um, from one of my retired programs. So I would definitely share it here because a lot of people have gotten great value out of that. I've been surprised how
Yeah.
it's because I did it for business, but
Hmm.
again, for me, my business just are the same.
Hmm.
It has really helped people in their personal life.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
that makes sense. So what are some other things so say a mama here is like, all right, I'm not giving up on my dream. Got it. Okay. How do I stay motivated? Like, how do I stay motivated during the hard times? What are some tricks that you've found?
Okay, so I love this. There's a few things that I like to encourage people to do. First is to have a vision board and to actually look at it every morning and night. And I like to have them have simpler goals on it, not necessarily simple, but if you put on there your mansion that you're going to get in 10, 15, 20 years, you're like you're not going to keep looking at it. But if you put on that, like, we have family night every once a week, and like that's way more achievable and you're going to keep looking at it. So don't not put the big goals on there, but put some smaller ones on there too. And that, when I look at it, I like to encourage moms to just look at it and dream a little bit. Sometimes dreaming, like, just think how it's going to be and how it's going to feel and who all it's going to help. And that really does help keep that alive. The second thing that is big for me and anybody in my programs, I know some people on here are in my programs and they've heard me say over and over again, is to create a story. So what I have them do is kind of create, sorry, I forgot to take it off of, but to create a story of their life, how their marriage is, and this is their marriages, how their kids are, how their business is, if that's what it is. And then I record myself talking, and I encourage my mentees to do this as well. I record myself or have them record themselves reading the story and listen to it every morning when you're getting ready. And it just sets your day up right and keeps that, okay, this is what I'm working toward. This is what I'm working toward.
Oh no, let's see if we can get her back, guys. I think the internet over there. Fingers crossed, I think she's coming back on. All right. Oh, I'm glad the wave worked, guys. It's like this new little feature on the thing. When you guys come on, it says I can wave to you. It is super exciting. So, oh yay, she's back. She's back. Yay. That's awesome. Okay. She's coming back. Yay. Ooh. All right, we're adding. Thank you guys. Yay.
I'm back.
So, we got to the saying, recording the story and then listening to it every morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that just, in the morning, I listen to it in the morning and then at night, and it just really sets, like, okay, this is what I'm going for. It kind of helps me look above the fog. Like we were talking about earlier, that's one way to just be like, okay, this is one day, but this story is the real life.
Oh, I love that. And that makes sense for being able to not give up on the dreams with everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So is there anything
And if you bring
course?
in, oh, sorry, I was just gonna say, if you bring in the family and the husband into it, then it's not like, oh, but my dream is getting lost. Like, it's the whole thing.
Yeah. I love that. I think that is so important, bringing the whole picture of your life into that story and vision
Mm-hmm.
board. That is so valuable. Is there anything else in the course of this conversation that maybe came to mind that you want to share before we let people get back to their evening and some of your brandy time back?
The biggest thing that I would say is to give yourself grace and think of progress, not perfection. Perfection is a myth, or it's a direction that you may be heading to, but we're not going to achieve perfection in this life. And so every time something doesn't go great, think of the progress that you've made. If it's not perfect, which it's not going to be, and just focus on the progress that you have made. And that's a game changer right there.
Oh, that is awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Where can people get their mama encouragement, the mindfulness that you're teaching, which is so key for moms to be the mamas they were meant to be? Where can they spend time with you?
I have a group here on Facebook. You can just go to momsonajourney.com, And that's for any, I mean, you don't have to be a mom to join. I just have a special heart for moms. I'm not teaching you how to parent because that ain't my wheelhouse. So don't worry, you won't feel too out of whack. But if you're a woman who needs some encouragement on your journey, wherever that is, I would love for you to join us there.
Well, apparently we have little heads. I can't wait to go back and see what's going on with this video. Apparently it's being crazy. So thank you, ladies, for being here live with us. I know Facebook must be being goofy tonight. And y'all, I just hope that tonight received encouragement that there are, no matter what transition, if it feels like the door is closing, if it feels like this dream isn't going to happen, if it feels like you're going through the same thing over and over again, if you feel like you're hitting your head up against a wall again, look at Brandy. She has gone through so many crazy transitions, and what is true for her is alive. It's inside her soul, heart, and she just turn it off. And so, if you've got a light like that, don't shut it out. Listen to it and apply the things she taught us tonight, because they're very so. Oh, good. Oh, Sally,
Thank you so much.
incredible.
Yeah,
All right, you guys. Thank you.
all these things. It's good. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for being here. Good night. Stick to the
Yes,
transitions. You
thank
got
you,
this.
Trish. Good night.
Thank
Yes.